So my name is Dave. I live on Lake Murray. We've lived here for several years now, and there are things that I've learned since living on the lake that I didn't know before we moved here. 5 tidbits that I think could be handy for people that are looking for property on the lake. I want to pass that along. So I am not talking about the property itself. I'm not talking about, you things you want to look for in a house. I'm talking about outside the house, in the water, on the shoreline. So the first thing, and these are not in particular order, but kind of sort of they are. The first thing that is very nice to have, a boat lift. Boat lifts will allow you to keep your boat, whether it be a pontoon type boat or a V-hull fiberglass boat. It'll keep it up out of the water. It'll keep the bottom of your boat, the part that sits in the water, it'll keep it a lot cleaner. There's going to be a lot less maintenance for you to do on it. And overall, that is a huge asset to have. In some lakes, the lake level will fluctuate throughout the year. So having that boat lift allows you to keep it out of the water, keep it clean, but also keep it out of the fluctuating water when the water starts to drop throughout the year. This is probably a no-brainer. It doesn't really apply, but I would say next is a floating dock. Most of the homes that are on a lake will have a floating dock. I rarely see some that are just on post where the dock doesn't change over time as the water level fluctuates, but definitely a floating dock is a good thing to have. On the topic of docks, so depending on where you are, there are some docks in some communities where they're shared. They're shared with a neighbor or multiple neighbors. I would find out about this if you're buying in a development of some kind. Determine if the dock that's outside the home is a shared dock. There's just baggage with this. It may be just fine. The neighbors or neighbors next to you could be fine. It could present of no issue, but it's something that you need to look into and confirm that the dock that's outside your home, is it a shared dock or would it belong just to you? The next thing that's very important that I would check into when you're shopping for property is to see if the lot that you're buying is associated with a buffer zone or a lake management zone. If that is the case, then you may not be able to do some things from the shoreline up like 10 or 15 feet or more. There's some lots on Lake Murray that are associated with a buffer zone. So you're limited on what you can do within that zone. So definitely check into buffer zones and see if the lot that you're potentially buying is associated with a buffer zone. If it is, find out the rules associated with it, what you can do, what you can't do. Maybe talk to some neighbors in the neighborhood and find out some details about that. So another component, and this applies to Lake Murray, and I know it applies to other lakes that are at least on the East Coast. Many are associated with power plants. So it's a managed lake, and the lake level will tend to fluctuate primarily at the end of the year. They'll drop it either from a few feet to 10, 12 feet on some years. What this does is there's various reasons for it, at least on Lake Murray. I've heard that it allows the homeowners to do maintenance on their shoreline. It allows, you can paint your dock, do stuff like that. It flushes the lake a little bit when they drop the lake level. It exposes some aquatic plants, causing them some unwanted aquatic plants, causing them to die off. So I think it's healthy for the lake, and that's one of the reasons that it's done. But what you would like to find out is, if your property, if you're going to have a mud flat, if they drop it at the end of the year. If that's the case, if you have a boat lift, then you can get your boat up. The water level being dropped is not an issue. But if you don't have a boat lift, you want to make sure you get your boat out of the water before that occurs. Otherwise, it could be stuck in the mud. The other problem associated with that is a lot of the lakes have obstacles, stumps, who knows what that's down underneath the water. When the water is at the normal level, then those obstacles aren't aren't a big concern. But as the water level drops, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, those stumps are right at the surface. So, when that occurs, you really don't want to be out on the water that much, but you definitely don't want to have your boat stuck in the mud because you missed the opportunity to take it out. Now, on that note, this is my food for thought hack. I don't have a boat trailer now. I've had boats in the past that I had a trailer because I would go to the lake and come home and pull the boat. Now I have a boat that's on a lift. I don't need a trailer, and I also don't have room for a trailer. If I had a trailer, I would have to pay for the storage to keep it throughout the year. And the only time I would need, me personally, the only time I'd need to take it someplace is for maintenance. You have to weigh the cost. You've got the storage cost to store your boat trailer every year, and the cost, if you're taking it someplace, then that maintenance facility will likely, they can either pick it up at your house and drive it to a boat ramp, or for me, I drive it to a boat ramp, and then the maintenance facility will pick it up from there, take it back to their shop. When they're done pulling the maintenance on it, changing the oil, the annual service, stuff like that, I'll meet them at the same boat ramp, write them a check, and drive on home. But there's a cost analysis that you need to do with both of those. So definitely, that's something else to consider when you're on the lake. Anyway, I hope this is of some value to you, but there are things that associated with living on a lake that I know I didn't know when we first moved here. The two things that I consider the most important is find out if you have a shared dock and find out if the lot that your property is on is part of a buffer zone. Both of those things could definitely impact you after you buy the property. So it's best to know that ahead of time, because you want to weigh that before you write a big check. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful for you. If it has, please like and subscribe. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave them in the comments, and I'll get back with you just as soon as I can. I would absolutely love to help you out. So take care, stay safe. Thank you.